Hi friends, welcome to Yoga with Sarah Trapani. I'm Sarah and thank you so much for practicing with me. I really appreciate it. Some of my viewers, some of my subscribers have been asking for a little more time between transitions. So we're taking today this slow flow practice, and it still will be a pretty brief practice. We'll take some more time to hold the poses and slow down the transitions, and it'll be a nice whole body flow. Thanks again. See you on the mat. We're starting this practice in a cross-legged seat, flexing your feet so that you feel this more in your outer hips and not in your knees. If it's uncomfortable for you to sit cross-legged, you can always sit up on a prop like a blanket or a block to raise your hips up a little bit. So relax your shoulders down, close your eyes, and tune into how you feel today. Tune into what energy are you bringing onto your mat today. Noticing the natural flow of your breath to help guide you more into the present moment so that everything else outside the space of the present moment begins to dissolve away. Take a moment to drop the chin gently down toward your chest. Pull your belly in toward the spine. And then sit up really tall. Sweep the arms overhead. Big full inhale. Stretch. Exhale, bring the hands down right through the central channel and connecting the thumbs to the center of the chest. Set your intention for practice today. What do you want to cultivate in this time on your mat? And may that intention help inspire the effort that you put in today. Opening your eyes, slowly make your way onto tabletop position. Find yourself on all fours, spreading the fingers wide. Let your belly hang down. Sitting bones lift. Inhale, spread the chest, look forward and up. And then on the exhale, draw the belly in and press back toward child's pose. Slide your hands forward. So you're coming into extended child's pose. Feel the length from the pinkies stretching back into the hip creases. Then root through the tops of the feet. Lift the belly on the inhale. Glide forward. Spread the chest. Bring your shoulders over the palms. And then on your exhale, slowly press back. Hips to heels. Move through that a few times, elongating the movement with your elongated breath. On the inhale, come forward through the chest. On your exhale, belly in, press back. And one more inhale, waving forward. The hips might drop a little bit. Any amount of back bend, looking up. And exhale. Tuck your toes underneath. Look between your hands and check that your first fingers are parallel. Wrap your inner arms toward the outer arms so that the collarbones are really broad. Then look towards your belly, lift your knees, and come on up into downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet, lifting one heel at a time. Waking up the backs of the legs. Feel the length from the pinkies reaching right up through the hip creases. When you exhale, pull the belly in toward the spine. You may be able to straighten the legs a little more. Now lift your heels and one vertebrae at a time, lift the belly and slowly wave yourself into a plank position. So you bring your shoulders over the palms and look down between your thumbs, but lift the back of your head and bring your knees down. Sweep your hips toward your heels and then lift the knees up and come back into downward dog. Pausing there. Feeling all of your knuckles root to the ground and a little suction cup of energy from the center of the palm right up into your underarm. Then lift the heels, lift the belly. one vertebra at a time. Wave forward, crown of head last, plank pose. Then touch your knees down, sweep your hips back, and slowly lift your knees again into downward dog. From downward dog, lift your heels and start to tiptoe ever so slowly. Tiptoe forward. As you tiptoe, keep lifting your sitting bones up and gradually tiptoe all the way forward, right between your thumbs. And there, fold and hook your thumbs in your elbow creases and hang in a ragdoll. Holding either elbow, let the weight of the forearms traction the torso down over the thighs and bend your knees as much as you need to start to connect the rib cages down on tops of your thigh bones. Sway a little bit if that feels good. Then let the backs of the hands drape into the floor. Keep the hands heavy. We have a bend through the knee. Drop your tail. Start to really pull your lower belly in and slowly roll on up, one vertebra at a time. Toes soft and spread. Each little joint of the spine stacking on top until the crown of the head comes up last of all. And we lift up through the crown of the head. Take your hands on your hips. Shift into your right foot. Peel your left foot off the ground. Lift your left knee. Balance. And then slowly release your left foot down into the ground. Find a drishti if you haven't already, a focal point you can keep your gaze fixed upon. Lower down on the floor is easier, higher up is more challenge. The gaze is fixed, but the peripheral vision is soft as we press through that left foot and lift your right thigh. Balancing there. Hands on hips. Then release that right foot down. Pressing through the right foot, lift your left foot. Feel that left thigh hug up into the hip. Nice line from back of head to tail. Then replace that left foot right back down, right where it was. And then the right foot peels up. And then slowly release that right foot back down onto the floor. Then slide your hands onto imaginary back pockets and bend your knees. Start to spill the belly down over the thighs. Crown of head hanging last. You can interlace your fingers, and if it feels available, peel the arms away from the back with palms either shoulder width or squeeze the palms together. Whatever feels available today. The head dropping down between your feet. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, let it out. Now bend your knees quite a bit. Release your hands onto the floor, framing your feet onto the ground or to blocks. Bend your knees enough to take your hands on the outside edges of your feet. Take a big step back with your left foot. Right knee is over the heel. Drop your left knee down. Look forward. Look up. Let the inner thighs scissor apart. Good. Holding there. Take your left hand on the ground. Take a moment to stay. Take your right hand on front of your right ankle and just look to the right. If it's available for you, slide your right hand around onto your back and swipe it toward your left hip. Right shoulder peels away from the ear, and then we'll hold there in that twist. Inhale expands the belly. The exhale might scissor those inner thighs apart a little bit more. The right knee is hugging in toward your midline. And one more inhale. Exhale, let's release that right hand down on the outside edge of the foot. Then slide your right leg back. Toes are tucked. Hips to heels. Child's pose. Then lift the belly. Gradually wave. Modified plank. Elbows are pointing toward your outer feet. Hug your elbows in, come all the way down onto the belly. Now take your elbows underneath your shoulders. We'll come into a Sphinx back bend, dragging your palms toward your elbows. Spread your chest. Breathing there. If you want to experiment with pointing your toes toward the back of your head, touching your big toes together, rooting your pubic bone down toward the mat, you could try that. And then we inhale, looking up. And then we exhale, slowly release the tops of feet to the ground. And then we're going to open the elbows, stack the palms, rest the forehead on tops of the palms. Crocodile pose. Inhale, exhale, let it go. And start to lift the back of the head. Take your palms under your elbows and then press on up. Hips to heels, tuck the toes. Lift the knees, come up again into a downward dog. Breathing smooth, steady breath. We hold in downward dog for about 3 breaths. The knees are opening out over the second toe. Then lift your heels onto tiptoes and then little bitty tiptoes. Keep your head hanging, keep looking toward your tailbone. Tiptoe forward, pressing through the palms. Trying to keep your arms straight until you tiptoe all the way forward right between the thumbs. And inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through the crown. Exhale, fold, hook your opposite thumb in the opposite elbow and hang and drape in a rag doll. Sway a little bit. Bending your knees generously. And then as your belly connects to the thighs, it might be possible to press the legs a little bit more straight without force. The weight of the forearms tractioning the torso down. Then let your backs of hands drape to the floor. Start to pick up that lower belly toward the spine. And then slowly, one vertebra at a time. Coming on up. Rolling up until the crown of head arrives up last of all. You feel really light and open in the upper body. Shoulder blades gliding down the back. Breathing into Tadasana, standing in your tall mountain pose. Toes are soft. And then inhale, reach the arms overhead. Give the palms a press, look up. Long, slow exhale, hinging from the hips, melting the belly down, all the way down, letting your head hang. And then bend your knees quite a bit. Take a big step back with your right foot. Left knee is over the heel. I have no friggin' clue what I did. Touch your right knee down. Let the inner thighs scissor apart. Look forward. You can take your right hand on the ground. Just take your left hand on front of that shin. And pause there, letting the inner thighs scissor apart. I have the back toe tucked. If it feels better for you to have the top of that foot flat, you could do that. The tucked toe helps engage the quadricep and protect your knee. And then we can take your left hand around to the outer thigh or slide it around onto your back and swipe it right, feeling that left shoulder away from the ear and taking that twist. The inhale brings space into the belly, and the exhale hollows the belly in toward the spine. One more inhale. And then exhale, release your left hand down. And we're going to slide that left leg back. Coming into child's pose. And then stand up on your knees. Roll your shoulders. Good. And then take your time to come on to sit and gently swing your ankles around. And we're going to extend the legs out straight. Bring your right heel in toward the sitting bone. Then bring your right foot over across, bringing your right ankle to your outer left thigh and letting that right knee fall forward. Walk your hands forward, whatever amount's available. Maybe you can reach and touch your toes. Resist that left thigh up into your right outer leg a little bit. Be where you're at for a few breaths. You may be able to move a little more into it. Think of your inner thighs rolling forward and down toward the floor. Find some breath, especially when you inhale, filling the back ribs deep into your lower back. Exhale, maybe folding a little more. And then go ahead and come on up. Draw that right knee toward your body, lightly uncross, extend the right leg out. Good, take a little bounce. Then slide that left foot in. Bring that left foot over on top of the right. And you want to bring that left ankle up toward the outer hip if that's possible, and let that outer left knee fall forward any degree. And staying upright might be fine to do. Bringing and resisting that right thigh up into the outer left thigh a little bit. You may be able to reach and take your hands to frame your legs or reach for the toes. Good. Breathing there. Elbows open away from each other just a bit. Deep, deep stretch for that right hamstring and also the outer hips. Inhales bring space to the back ribs. Exhales may let you fold a little more. Don't overdo. We linger a little bit longer. And then slowly let's come on up. Uncross. Extend that left leg out. Flex your feet. Sit up really tall. And then point your feet. And then flex. Point. And flex. Scooch forward. So you have some space to come down, and then gradually lower your way down. All the way down. Gently releasing on your back. Palms facing up. Bring your soles of feet together. Let your knees splay open with your heels a little further from your tail. Finding that Supta Baddha Konasana. Relaxing your jaw, relaxing your eyes. Closing your eyes if that's comfortable on your body and scanning your body. You can remember any intention you set for practice today. And scooping the knees in, bring the feet on the floor, hip width distance apart. Take your arms alongside the body, palms facing up. You can drag one shoulder at a time underneath your back. Press through the feet and lift the hips and pelvis, coming up into your bridge. Hug your knees in so they don't splay out too much. And root the backs of the arms from the middle finger right to the shoulder blade into the ground. And inhale. When you exhale, one little vertebrae at a time. One little spine piece at a time, draping like a string of pearls, one by one, down into the middle of the back, down into your lower back, and slowly resting your sacrum down. Take your feet mat width distance apart, slide the arms open to a cactus. Windshield wiper to the right, look to the left. Windshield wiper to the left. Look to the right. Do that a few times. Back and forth. Pausing anywhere that feels good to pause. And then hug your knees in. Give a squeeze. Full happy baby, reaching for the outside edges of the feet or ankles. Soles of feet face the sky. Long line from crown to tail. Rocking gently. Massaging all the muscles along the spine. Deeply relaxing in the jaw, the throat. And then release your feet onto the ground. Give your feet a little press and then extend your legs out and find Shavasana. So Shavasana is the final meditation where all you do is lay. If your back feels tender, you could roll a blanket or a cushion, a bolster underneath your knees, or you could just take that constructive rest legs with knees knocking into touch. Whatever allows your back and your hip joints to feel very spacious. Relax into the floor. Let the floor rise up to support you. Starting to wiggle fingers and toes. Starting to wiggle fingers and toes and wake up sensation. Take the arms overhead. Take a big reset stretch. Big full inhale, reset. When you exhale, roll to either side that feels natural and take a pause. And then gradually, using your hand to support you, press on up so the crown of head arrives up last of all. And we're coming up to sit, finding an upright, tall spine. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, press the hands down through the central channel and bringing the thumbs to the center of the chest. I'm wishing you joy and peace, health, strength, courage, and always trust on the journey. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me. I really appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment, let me know your feedback or your class requests. And I really appreciate your presence here. Keep it up. Take care.